Around the world and across Nigeria, if you just joined us, it's still Enterprise Weekend, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our conversation for this morning. The informal recycling sector in Nigeria plays a critical role in waste management, particularly in Lagos, where scavengers collect and process recyclable materials like plastics, metals, and e-waste.
And while the sector helps reduce waste and offers income to low-income individuals, it operates in a disorganized, unregulated manner with significant environmental and health implications.
Malang Abdul, a recycler along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway, exemplifies this practice by burning waste to extract valuable metals, contributing to air pollution, soil contamination, and waste pollution.
Nigeria generates 32 million tons of waste annually, with less than 20% collected from formally and only about 10% recycled.
Informal recyclers handle 80 to 90% of recycling, often without protective gears, exposing themselves to hazardous chemicals and toxic fumes, which can cause serious health issues like respiratory illnesses and cancer.
And burning e-waste and other materials releases harmful pollutants like lead, mercury, and dioxins, degrading air quality and contributing to climate change.
The practice also contaminates soil and water, harming the ecosystem, reducing agricultural productivity, and endangering aquatic life.
And experts like Professor Temilola Oluseyi and Olugbenga Adebola emphasize the need for global best practices and regulation in informal recycling to mitigate these challenges while preserving its economic benefits.
Very well. So let's have a conversation. Still with us is Mr. Shodende Peters. Thank you so very much for hanging in.
Thank you so much.
We really do appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. So let's talk about this particular matter, even as we take a look at it from a holistic angle, Nigeria. But let's narrow this particularly to Lagos State, because that's where we see what seemed to be like a coordinated recycling in Nigeria. There used to be a time during Ambudi's tenure. He introduced the Visionscape, right, with the aim of organizing and making sure that recycling and its processes is done the way it should be done, right? But of course, politics came through the door. People wanted to have it their way. PSP came on board. Of course, it has been there before, but it reintroduced itself, and of course, everything went to the gallows. Tell us, how do we better manage this? How do you think we can manage this without necessarily harming the environment and people who are involved in it?
Yeah, I think the problem of waste in Nigeria is just like the general Nigerian problem of neglect. And we only focus our eyes on where there is money. Thinking, for example, I don't know why a country after over 60, 70 years of independence are still looking at only oil, when God has given you gold, coal, lithium, arable lands, you have everything. Only palm oil is enough for you to, some countries, you will be a net exporter and before you made billions. I think the former speaker was talking about how the Ministry of Livestock can give Nigeria about $2.5 billion annually. He was saying that even if it is 10% of it, $250 million that comes to the economy of the North, that a whole lot will change in that space. But people are not ready. They are interested in how much oil was pumped, how much are we going to share. You see, so that we don't miss the point.
Yes.
Recycling is enough. All this unemployment that we see here and there, recycling industry is enough to take away, because the value chain is very long. Right from home self, as a woman or as a man, you can begin to recycle whatever, separate your plastic from your raw food, from e-waste, so that when they come, rather than just pump everything into the, and everybody goes, you already tell them this plastic, this is how much I am selling it to you. So that you begin to make money from even your own. Then those guys that come to carry your waste, they too, when they get to their dump site, they also sort it. In fact, in their truck, you'll be looking at them sometimes. They are sorting already in their truck. If you watch them very well. Because they know that, come, aside that I'm collecting money for coming to pick your waste, this your waste, I will also make money from it. By the time they sell it, they also sell it to some middlemen. Those ones are the ones that now go to the recycling plants. When they gather enough of it, they now go to the recycling plants. Or maybe the recycling plants themselves will say, okay, because the recycling plants, they need large volume. They don't entertain all these small. So the middlemen come there, buy everything from all these small guys. Then at the end of the day, they go to the recycling plants and sell. The recyclers are now the ones that will turn them into almost whatever. It depends on the type of weight. If it is plastic, they can use it to make some other different things upon it. If it is rubber, they know where to channel that to. If it is, and another thing is 32 million tons of waste. Lagos alone should be doing half of that figure, because the waste generated in Lagos alone is enough to power Lagos itself. So imagine the loss of revenue. See, when you look at that industry from afar, you know very well that Nigeria is not ready. When the foreigners look at you, especially who are experienced, they'll be like, in the midst of plenty, why are these people poor? See business in your environment. Something that God had given to you. Do you know how a state with this small land size and has over 20 million people inside? Do you know what waste the state generates? And do you know how much? When Visionscape came that you mentioned, they couldn't manage Lagos Island alone.
Very true. Yes, true.
The white man was saying he never believed that this is the type of volume he's going to be dealing with. That is why they failed. They were just thinking that it is one small, managing the waste in Lagos Island alone, market every day, every blessed day. It's not easy, not to talk of. But you see, for me, I look at the business side of it. If 20% is the only one generated formally, and out of the 20% that we generate formally, only 10% is recycled. That means 80% of it is informal sector, all these boys burning up and down. Can the government come into this space?
I was about asking.
So many of your youths that are crying unemployment, they can get things to do.
Now, Mr. Peter, sorry to cut you short, talking about the youths unemployed coming in. First of all, the Minister of Environment, can we say he has this knowledge, or is knowledgeable enough to see all these loopholes and how we can actually make money out of it? So now
that is why I said for Nigeria, we are not ready. The Ministry of Environment does not have any blueprint for waste. All they are interested in is how much is coming from the center to environment. We want to do ecological funds, and there is a problem in the southeast, erosion. That is okay. There is no water in Sokoto. All those old stories. They are not looking at, okay, this recycling. How can I draft a policy around it? How can I get the Ministry of Youth to partner with me? Let's get youths out of the street. Let's get them out of drugs. Once we catch them doing drugs, we push them to recycling plants. It's like a mini prison. But just guys, go and be recycling. Stay there forever in your life. After 10, 15, 20 years that you have also been doing it, maybe we'll set you guys up. And all our NYC graduates, I used to believe, once you are doing youth service, it's either you are in a agric farm or maybe in a recycling plant. So that by the time you are even leaving NYC, you are not living into unemployment. I can rear chicken. I can do poultry. I can do cassava. I can do something. Even if it is to learn how to sew. Even if it's to learn, so that you don't come and be a liability to your parents and to yourself. At least you will be able to do something with your school. Education has left just the four walls of school. People are making it, doing different things now. So I think because we don't have a policy, all they just do in the ministries go there, the normal things we used to do, check the budget line. It's the same thing. buying furniture, buying cars, so because we don't have a policy, nothing addressing, no blueprint addressing recycling. So that industry is just left to. It's only Lagos State that is trying to find a way around it and be like, okay, what can we do? And out of itself, just 10%. Imagine if Nigeria is working on 50% of its waste, the number of people you will employ and the number of production that will happen.
Yeah, very well, because we can't, say this enough without mentioning, one of the consequences of some of these things we're talking about, that's climate change. Right, because when we don't manage our waste well, it leads to a process of several other things, like the Olusosun, waste mine there. At some point, the 18 that was right on the net, at some point boiled up. It caused fire and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, just like you equally said, we have engineers that would have even thought of how can we even take care of the 18 and use it to produce power or whatever it is, as a result of that. So that's some of the process. So I want you to speak to this with concern to climate change. Like, it's, of course, our leaders are very quick to run to COP29, COP28, and take the 1,000 people to their place without even having a basic understanding of some of these things we're talking about.
Yes, for climate change, I believe in it. A whole lot of our activities, especially manufacturing activities, affect the ozone layer, that causes a whole lot of things. But you see, for African countries, I think our major issue is not climate. Our major issue is thinking. Countries like China, Japan, where they have massive production, America, they are the ones that can even say, okay, we want to battle climate change because of the level of activities we have. And they are doing well. Africa first is survival. How do we get leaders that will think that, okay, how can I survive without corruption? How can I survive without the West? What can we do within Africa ourselves? Let's even leave climate for now. How many production do you have? We're a consumption economy in Africa. We import. Rather than, you see, for this waste, rather than look at climate change, I look at the health challenges that comes with it.
Okay.
Once people start to treat waste in an improper manner, because it starts from the person generating the waste itself. Do you generate them in such a way that there are loose rats come before you know anything? Governments will start talking about Lassa fever all around. That is one of it at the micro level. For the boys that are involved in it, you just see them. They hardly wear their PEP, or their PPE, personal protective equipment. They don't, no glove, no mask. They even sleep on the truck. You just wonder. But before you know anything, it's an outbreak of cholera for those guys. Before you know anything, respiratory issues like asthma, bronchitis, and a whole lot of things. And for the people, look at people around Olusosun that you mentioned. There were some companies at motorways, some companies around UAC in Ojotanko. They had to just shut down because the foul smell would not allow them. How can we have, until the state government had to shut down that particular site? Go to Ablek by Okoba, there you'll see another dump site there beside the Ilepo market. The government has shut it down. You don't expect to have such within a town because of the adverse effects on the health of the people and on the environment. Once you start burning, and soil, as you see it, it travels. Yes. That is why when you see the white people and they come and they see you burying your dead in your house, they be like, is this person, are these guys normal? Don't you know where you have buried this person and where you have your borehole? This oil travels. This is an epidemic in waiting. That's why they have what you call a cemetery. When somebody is dead, take them to the cemetery. If the cemetery is full, you can burn them. What's the name of that stuff now? Cremate. You can cremate them. So they know very well that all these things have implications once you do them. So burning of waste, treating them just anyhow, as serious, because you cannot be spending so much on health and at the end of the day creating the problem yourself. You are the one creating the problem. And at the end of the day, you'll be the one to spend the money in the hospital. I mean, the government. So the government needs a holistic plan for waste. They need people who are professionals in that industry to come and say, going forward, this is how we can treat it. This is how much government will make in terms of income. This is how you can reduce unemployment. This is how you can better your economy. Because all these waste too, you can even export them. These foreign countries, they export e-waste to us. Use TV, use whatever. All those ones, they are not acceptable in their own country. They are just using this place as a dump site.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peters. But in 60 seconds, let's talk about waste education, because we are out of time. Waste education, and how much can we see Nigerians are enlightened on this waste management and waste education?
Especially starting from primary school, secondary school, and if possibly, the university.
I think we've talked about it. There's nothing about it. We have not scratched anything at all. No policy, nothing. Even the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Youth, and Women Affairs Ministry self. Because women manage the kitchen most of the time. So we have consortium of ministries that can work together and be like, there's nothing, you see all this, when you go to universities, we have GNS, people write compulsory courses and compulsory courses in this country should be around issues like this. So that everybody that passed through an institution, we know what waste is. We know what recycling is. Part of it should be your rights. People should know their rights. Little law. So that when police stop you, or when they already know that these people are aware of all this GNS, the nonsense that they put, what my father had done 50 years ago, it's the same thing I'm doing. So Nigeria needs a holistic approach. The way they are returning history back to the curriculum, they need to bring things like this back, that, guys, come. This is how to live our life going forward. We'll make money right from home. Not that everybody will be running around. When they look at our environment, you see all this waste there. Money. It is money that is wasting away. So for me, I feel that government needs another plan. Maybe it is their youth, whatever that they want to do.
You confirm.
Chairman will represent us and then tell them that, okay, I am here for waste.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peters.
Yes, just like we often say, this is a cyclic thing. When one part of the system is broken, it affects the whole circle, of the whole thing. So the need for us to take care of our environment is a priority, not just for the government, but for every single one of us. When you want to dispose of your waste, and sure, just like our guest did say, make sure you separate them. There are colors to it. I can't remember them now. Yellow, green, blue, or whatever it is. Glass, plastic, and all other waste. So we can, on our own, start taking care of our environment. Climate change is real. Very, very true. And so let's take clear care of our planet so our planet can take care of us. Thank you so very much.
Thanks for having me once again.
I appreciate you, Choma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I forgot to tell you, you look delectable.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
All right, people, that's just about the time we have for today. I would love to believe you enjoyed our program just like we did here, but please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us for this particular story and more on enterprisetvnews.com. And also do like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry.
And I'm Choma Okohia. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.